AV presents the Storm Team 3 Stormwatch Advisory.
Good evening, I'm WSAV Storm Team 3 meteorologist Scott Roberts. This Saturday evening we continue to track what is now Tropical Storm Isaias as it is headed toward Florida. Let's get straight to the maps to show you what is going on. The hurricane hunters are out there investigating, and through today overall they found that this storm has not been as impressive as what we were talking about yesterday at this time, and the winds have weakened as the storm has really begun to, over the last several hours overall, look pretty ragged on satellite imagery. There's the center of circulation, a very lopsided system though, where the past few frames here, last couple of hours on our time lapse, we can see a little bit more in the way of convection. We could see this begin to regain some strength as it gets into some warmer water over the Gulf Stream. But this has been battling some very dry air on the west side, working its way in. Some wind shear, strong winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere have been also working against, and there's that dry air. So if this does begin to strengthen a bit, it will be very short-lived, and we do not expect rapid intensification with this system. One of the things that has also changed majorly from this, from the earlier advisories this afternoon is the forward speed. Now northwesterly at 10 miles per hour. That means the timing for us is going to be a little bit later through the day on Monday, and possibly still feeling some of the effects in the way of some breezy winds as we head into Tuesday. But as of 5 o'clock, 70 mile per hour sustained winds, and we do expect this to regain a little bit of strength as a hurricane and then as a tropical storm again as it's brushing right up against the Florida coast. We could see a landfall as we head into Sunday evening, but if it does so, it is going to likely move back over the waters of the Atlantic Ocean just off of our coast. There we are, a 65 mile per hour tropical storm off the coast of, say, Brunswick and St. Mary's. And as we head northward, or as it heads northward, we could see that second landfall in coastal South Carolina, quickly weakening as it moves across North Carolina and quickly into the New England states and southern Canada as we head into the middle part of the week. There is going to be a trough of low pressure coming in from the west, which will bring in some moisture as the storm gets a little bit closer to us. So most of the heavy rain will be expected right along the coast and into South Carolina. We do have a lot of warm water. This is going to be heading over the Gulf Stream. That's going to be the main factor, one of the main factors as to why this storm will not really begin to dissipate quickly, even though it is going to be brushing up against land. So there's that warm water right off the coast. Temperature readings along Tybee Island, 86 degrees right now. You need about 82-degree water temperatures for tropical systems to begin to form. As far as the winds from this, we could start to see those come into our area as we head into Monday evening. An onshore flow first, and if the timing is bad for this as far as coming at high tide, we have a full moon, so higher than normal tides are expected with us on Monday, but when you add this to it, we could see an enhancement of those water levels along Fort Pulaski and the islands, Tybee Island, Wilmington, White Marsh Island, and into Hilton Head as well. Those winds being a concern as we head into overnight Tuesday. And there we go. This could make that landfall in South Carolina going into the later hours of Tuesday. So, or excuse me, earlier morning hours of Tuesday, something that they'll be watching pretty carefully. So we do have three scenarios that we watch. One is that we would have pretty much a near miss or very high impacts. In the middle, in between the three scenarios, we could have some coastal issues, and if it takes more of an eastern trek, we'll have a breezy day. I don't think that's going to be the case. We are going to be dealing with a scenario somewhere in between 1 and 2, so that's why we are watching this pretty carefully. The closer you are to the coast, you'll have the better chance of having tropical storm force wind gusts, and also the coastal erosion issues, high surf, and those coastal flooding issues as far as those higher than normal tides. We will have coastal flood advisories likely in place. As far as advisories on this, hurricane watches and warnings for the Florida Peninsula. Further to the north offshore, we do have a hurricane watch, but for all of our counties in the coastal empire, we have a tropical storm watch in place, and this extends to north of Charleston. As we head through the day tomorrow, this will extend to more northern locations of the South Carolina coast. Now, as far as the wind speeds that we are going to be talking about, here's what one of our computer models is projecting. Notice the brighter colors offshore. Those represent the higher wind speed. So right around 2:30 or so, we could see wind gusts upwards of getting close to 30 miles per hour as that center of circulation remains offshore. More inland, you'll have a breezy day and breezy overnight with those winds maybe upwards of 10 to 20 miles per hour at times. You can see those wind gusts in the tropical storm force range at times, depending on the exact path of the storm. A matter of miles could mean all the difference. I want to show this graphic again one more time just to show you that difference. Here's where the strongest core of wind will be as we head into Monday afternoon into evening just offshore. So if this wobbles a little bit more to the west than what this is projecting, we can certainly see stronger winds right along the coast. But I think either way, if you're, say, along and east of I-95 in general, those winds will gradually decrease a bit as you go further west, and we'll still be dealing with these breezy winds as we head into the first part of Tuesday, likely switching out of a more northerly direction. Now, a lot of us further inland will be missing out on the rain through the day tomorrow. Same thing for us along the coast, a few spotty showers possible, but taking our model into Monday morning, already some rain bands possibly moving in right along the coast. These could produce some heavy rain and also breezy conditions, northeasterly wind. And as we head into the later part of the day, that becomes more easterly, still some heavy rain developing, but if you're further inland, closer to middle Georgia, likely missing out on the heavier, steadier rain. Then it's going to be into the more evening hours when we do have that chance of some heavier storms starting to work their way into our area. And even more to the north, our model's projecting that right along the Charleston coast, it could have a bullseye of upwards of 6 inches or more of rain, maybe 3 to 4 for a few isolated spots in the coastal empire and low country, but as a general rule, maybe 2 to 3 inches for the spots that receive the most rain. So as far as the main impacts, they will begin Monday afternoon and into the evening hours. The track has been a little bit more west and a little bit slower, so it's going to be about the duration of those potential wind gusts. And as far as the rain chances, they will be enhanced, but it's not going to be a situation where all of us are going to be receiving flooding rain, simply because the storm is going to remain rather lopsided, with most of the rain activity on the eastern side of the storm, putting it out to sea. Tropical storm force wind gusts not out of the question, and along the coast we do have that chance of seeing some very high surf, which we're already seeing. We'll have coastal flooding and beach erosion. Those rain chances will be a bit higher as we go into Monday and overnight into Tuesday. Already out on Tybee Island, we are seeing some pretty rough surfs, a little calmer than what we were looking at earlier in the afternoon, but still about 3-foot waves at times. They were a little bit higher, upwards of, say, 3 to 5 feet in the earlier afternoon hours. Now, elsewhere in the tropics, we are keeping our eyes on a few other systems. Tropical Depression 10 out in the eastern Atlantic, no threat to us. It has somewhat weakened and will continue to weaken over the next several hours. 30-mile-per-hour sustained winds. This is no threat to land. Actually, the Hurricane Center is expecting that by tomorrow morning this will be dissipating. Now, in the central Atlantic, there is another system that we are watching pretty carefully. A new invest, pretty broad area of low pressure. This is moving westerly and will be trekking more to the north and west over the next couple of days, and then by 5 days out, somewhere between Bermuda and the North Carolina coast, staying more toward Bermuda, but having a 60% chance of developing over the next 5 days. So just want to go back on the main impacts of what we will be talking about over the next couple of days, mainly Monday night and into early Tuesday morning. We'll see those showers and storms begin to move in. Local impacts will be enhanced rain chances and the chances for hurricane force winds. Now, we have been watching things all around the region. I want to show you one thing. Our WSAV Storm Team 3 weather app. It's a great tool to get weather alerts. We actually do have those watches in place for us already. You're actually told that we don't have that, but you can download the WSAV weather app to get everything you need to know. We post the forecast there and the latest information you need. We do have those watches in place. Want to show you that Edward Moody is joining us now in the Weather Center. He's been watching our Facebook Live feed, paying attention to some of the questions that you may have about this system as it is moving in. We will begin to feel the impacts a bit, but this is not going to be a worst case situation, worst case scenario for us here in the Coastal Empire, so that's good news right there.
I've been seeing a lot on the Facebook feed saying thank goodness for that. A lot of prayer hands about that. I did have a question from someone who wants to know how much storm surge for low-lying areas in Beaufort, South Carolina, and they're talking about not coastal but marshfront and creek areas.
I think either way, because of the enhanced tides with the full moon on Monday, and it's a lot of it's going to depend on the exact timing of the storm with onshore winds. With this, we could see some saltwater inundation. From what I'm seeing, maybe upwards of a foot, but don't set that in stone right now. It's going to depend on that timing. We could end up with this in between the tide cycles where the tide's going out, and that would help to mitigate things. So to actually pinpoint that on the timing, it's a little too soon to say, but in general, maybe a foot increase than normal. And
then on the timing for Monday, the person said they were listening to you, but they're trying to figure out their work schedule. So if you're heading to work, let's say Monday morning.
Yeah, Monday morning overall should be okay. Our main issues are going to begin, say, lunchtime and afterwards. That's if this track holds that we have right now and the forward speed holds right now. The trends through the day have been that this will be a little bit slower, so we're actually going to be making adjustments from our coverage instead of beginning, say, Monday morning with a lot of heavy coverage of this. We might be pushing that a little bit later when the thick of the storm would be coming in, and certainly Monday evening and overnight into Tuesday, we will have some issues. And of course, the closer to the coast you are located, that's where we would have the worst issues.
And we have a woman, Kiki, who was saying she's traveling to Savannah Monday morning, so it sounds like she'll be okay.
Yes.
Because she's coming in from Atlanta.
Yeah, Monday morning we should be looking okay, but of course stay weather aware, stay on top of the forecast because this still could change. A lot of this does depend on still what happens to the storm along the Florida Peninsula. If it takes more of an extreme western jog and travels up the state of Florida, not right on the coast or not off the coast, it could weaken it a lot more and make it a much less issue. I don't think that's going to be the case right now, but still within the realm of possibilities.
Sure. You mentioned isolated tornadoes. Did you mention that?
Isolated tornadoes. That, I think, is going to be more of a threat for areas, say, Charleston and more northward, though, of course, whenever you do have a tropical system coming on shore or brushing up against the shoreline, you do have that threat, but most of the convective activity is going to be a little bit more to the east, a little bit more offshore, so that's why it's not a major concern for us right now.
Still hard to tell about flooding on Savannah streets?
Savannah streets, of course, if we happen to get some rain bands that set up right on top of us, several inches at once, that could be an issue, but I don't think we're going to have as big of an issue as what we've seen in the past, and certainly just about a month ago when we had a very heavy rain, about 3 inches that fell right during high tide. Remember that happening on a Friday when I was on the way to work.
I was looking at your map there as you followed the track of the storm, and it's on the east coast of Florida. Someone on the feed was asking about Naples, which is on the other side, and what kind of impact could they see there?
Southwest Florida, it's going to be a breezy day, maybe some passing showers, maybe a few thunderstorms, but overall, very low impact event for the west coast of Florida.
All right, and then final question. Tina, not Tina Tyashaw, another Tina, on the feed would like to know, when is fall?
Fall. That is the $100,000 question. It begins at the end of September on either the 21st or 22nd, astronomically. But we'll have to wait and see.
We got a little waiting to do for that.
We do. But you know, in reality, in the South, not till like mid to late October. So if you like the heat, have it for a while. If you're looking forward to that fall, you have a long wait.
Prepare yourselves.
Absolutely, and be prepared for this storm. We will have everything you need to know here at WSAV News 3, Storm Team 3. The whole team will be in for tomorrow afternoon and through the day. On Monday, we will have another update on the forecast path coming up at 11 o'clock. That data comes in right before the newscast, so we'll have the latest advisory for then and an update on the timing for us as well. You'll also have an update on any of the news items related to this and some of the impacts coming out of Florida coming up on News 3 at 11. Until then, for Edward Moody and myself, I'm meteorologist Scott Roberts. We'll see you later on. Have a good night.